Okay, in the lesson today then, we started by doing some examples and just looking at how we multiply out some brackets. So we just look through a couple of quick examples. The first one we did was if I had something like 6 times y minus 2, how would I multiply out those brackets? And we said we would do 6 times y, which is 6y, and then 6 times the minus 2, which is minus 12. And once we'd done that one, we moved on to a slightly harder one. And I said, well, what would I do if I had 3 brackets 2x plus 1 plus 2 brackets 3x minus 2? And we said we'd do exactly the same thing, but we'd multiply out each pair of brackets separately. So we do the first bracket, 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. Positive 2 or plus 2 times 3x is plus 6x. And a positive 2 times a negative 2 is negative 4. And then we need to simplify this one. So we'd have 6x add 6x is 12x. And we've got a positive 3 here, and we're taking away 4. Positive 3 take 4 is minus 1 for that one. And then we made it slightly trickier with the next one. We said, well, what would happen if we had 5 brackets a minus 4 minus 2 brackets 2a minus 3 to multiply out? So if we had this one's multiply out, again, exactly the same thing. We're going to have 5 times a is 5a. 5 times minus 4, minus 20. And then the next side is going to be minus 2 times 2a. That's minus 4a. And a negative 2 times a negative 3. A negative times a negative is a positive. That's going to be plus 6. If I simplify that, I've got 5a here, take away 4a, that's 1a. And in this side I've got negative 20, add 6, which is negative 14 for that final answer. And then the last example I did on these was if we had 7 brackets 2x minus 4 minus x plus 2. So when we did this one, we started by thinking of it as the same way of the others. So if I start by multiplying out the first bracket, 7 times 2x, that's going to be 14x. 7 times minus 4, it's minus 28. And in this one, we don't really have a number in front of the bracket, but remember in algebra, when we have a number 1, we just leave it out. So we could think about this as having a number 1 in there if you like. So that's a negative 1 times x, that'd be minus 1x. We could just write minus x. And minus 1 times positive 2 is minus 2. And that would simplify to 14x's minus 1x is 13x. And minus 28 minus another 2 would be minus 30. And once we'd got to that point, we looked at the workbook that you're doing, the expanding brackets part, and we just looked at the left-hand column of all the questions and did a little bit of practice of those to make sure that we could do them. And then once everyone had finished that, we just started on to a couple of double bracket problems to finish the lesson. So we did some multiplying out of double brackets, and again we just did a couple of examples of this. So first example I looked at was if I want to multiply out x plus 5 times x plus 3. And we did this using 2 methods. Now apparently some people had remembered that last year or in third form you'd used a method called FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. Some people said it looked like a smiley face or a cat face or a claw. It doesn't matter how you remember it as long as you get the right answer. So if we do it this way, we're going to do first. So I'm going to do x times x, and x times x is x squared. And then I'm going to do the outside. So first outside. So my outside is going to be x times positive 3. That's positive 3x. And then I'm going to do the inside. So I'm going to do 5 times x, which is plus 5x. And then the last term is going to be 5 times the 3. 5 times 3 is plus 15. And then I'm just going to simplify what I've got here and make it a bit easier. So I've got an x squared. In the middle here, I've got 3x plus 5x. That's 8x. And then I've got a plus 15 at the end. And that's my final answer. I also did and showed everyone a method 2, which I just called the grid method. And this is the same idea. We get the same numbers, but instead of doing kind of the multiplying out, I just draw it in a little grid. So I draw a little grid with some squares in it. And then I say the first bracket is x plus 5, and the second bracket is x plus 3. And then I fill in these inside parts by just multiplying what's on the side of each box. So kind of the top left box here is x times x, that's x squared. The next box is x times 5, plus 5x. Next box is plus 3 times x, plus 3x. And the last box is plus 3 times plus 5, which is plus 15. And the 4 things in your box are the same as the 4 things that are kind of on the multicoloured row across. And all you need to do then is exactly the same. I've got x squared. These two I can group together. 5x plus 3x is 8x plus 15. Brackets are multiplied out. So that was the first example I did. And then I did one other example with the group. So the second example we did was to look at x minus 5 times 2x minus 3. And again, I did this both ways just to show everyone how we were doing it. So if I'm going to do it with method 1, again, I'm going to have my x minus 5 times 2x minus 3. And I'm going to do x times 2x. That gives me 2x squared. I think I drew this one slightly differently. Then I did x times minus 3. That's minus 3x. And then I started with the minus 5. Minus 5 times 2x is minus 10x. And minus 5 times minus 3 is positive 15. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. And I can simplify that by grouping together these middle x terms. So minus 3x, take away another 10, is minus 13x plus 15 at the end. And I did this one as well using the grid method. So I did this one, method 2, using the grid, just by drawing another quick grid, and it was x minus 5, 2x minus 3. And then inside my grid, I'm going to put 2x times x, that's 2x squared. 2x times minus 5 is minus 10x. Minus 3 times x, minus 3x. And minus 3 times minus 5 is plus 15. And again, these middle ones are going to simplify together. So I end up with 2x squared minus 10x minus 3x is minus 13x plus 15. And once we'd done that, I just put a few questions on the board. We were kind of running out of time in the lesson, but I put a few questions on the board for people to have a go at. If you want to have a go at some of these now yourself, let's have a go at a few questions. If you try these. So have a go at those 5 questions. If you pause the video now and have a go at them, I'll put the answers up now in a second, and then you can check through them when you've done them and see whether you've got them correct. So the first one should have given you x squared plus 9x plus 20. The second one should have given you x squared plus 8x plus 12. The next one should have given you x squared plus 2x minus 15. The next one should have given you 2x squared plus 9x plus 4. And the last one should have given you 2x squared minus 7x plus 6.